Welcome to section 5 of this presentation, which I've titled Organizational Buying Behavior. Just like consumers, organizations also buy. This section will be devoted to understanding the processes organizations go through when they're also buying, and the participants of this buying center. In other words, who and who play a role in the organizational buying processes. Now, business organizations do not sell, but they also buy. They buy raw materials, they buy manufactured components, they buy plants, they buy equipment, they buy supplies, and then they buy business services. Just as marketers need to understand consumer needs, the same way sellers to big organizations also need to understand the needs, resources, policies, and buying procedures of their organizational customers. Organizational buying behavior may be described as the decision-making processes by which formal organizations establish the need for purchased products and services and identify, evaluate, and choose among alternative brands and suppliers. In some ways, business markets are similar to consumer markets because they all have to get a need for a product and initiate steps to buy them. Organizational buying behavior may be described as the decision-making process by which formal organizations establish the need for purchased products and services and identify, evaluate, and choose among alternative brands and suppliers. In some ways, business markets are similar to consumer markets. In both situations, there are people who assume buying roles and make purchase decisions to satisfy their needs. However, business markets differ in many ways from consumer markets. And the differences are usually found in the market structure and demand, the nature of the buying behavior unit, and the type of decisions and the decision processes involved. For example, we all know that organizational buyers, they are few, but they buy in bulk. So there are few buyers, and each time they buy in bulk. And they don't buy because of emotional reasons. They buy more because of rational and economic reasons. Now, the purchasing decisions of an organization involve many individuals. The many individuals making the unit of a buying organization is called the organization buying center. The buying center is therefore defined as all the individuals and units that participate in the business buying decision-making process. And all we're saying is that, for example, if you take a business like the University of Ghana, one person cannot wake up and buy everything that we need. A lot of people are involved in deciding on what is appropriate to be bought at each point in time. We have those people, the people in the buying center. We have those that we call the initiators. And the initiators are those who request that something needs to be purchased. They may be users or others in the organization. For example, if a lecturer's laptop or a lecturer's computer is broken down, he actually places a request, and he therefore becomes an initiator. Then you have the users. These are members of the organization who will use the product or service. And when the product is bought, normally those who buy it may not be the ones who use it. The users are the actual people who actually make use of the product that are bought. So in some situations, you have the initiators and the users being the same people. The influencers. These are the people who influence the buying decision. They often help define specifications and also provide information for evaluation of alternatives. Technical personnel and experts are usually important influencers. For example, the purchasing officer. He is supposed to be knowledgeable in purchasing issues. He knows the products, he knows the suppliers, he knows the alternatives, and therefore he will actually be a major influencer in the buying process. They have the deciders. These are the people who decide on the product requirements or on supplies. And then you have to provide the approvers. Yes, you can do all the decisions, you can do everything, but somebody's signature must say that yes, we have to go and buy them. For example, the dean could say we don't have money, so we can't buy. The VC, the finance director, they are all approvers. Then the buyers are the actual people who place the orders for the goods and services as we buy them. Then we have gatekeepers. The gatekeepers are those who filter information. They prevent information from flowing through this buying center. For example, sometimes you go to a place, you want to see the manager, the secretary says the manager is not available. That secretary is becoming a gatekeeper, and he's trying to prevent you from selling your products and services to the company. Now, the decision-making process in buying organizations, what steps do people go through when they are buying in their businesses? First, you have the problem recognition. It goes through the same process like the individual. What is the problem that is causing management or the purchasing officer to think of this buying? So you need a problem recognition, the general need assessment. Once you recognize the problem, it's not enough. You may have to assess exactly the need in order to zero in on what exactly must be bought. Then you describe product specification. The product that will solve the need, you need to describe it in terms of its specifications. Then you go into what we call supplier search. In most organizations, there are many suppliers who can offer this. So you need to do supplier search. Some companies have a database of suppliers, which they have actually screened. So each time they need something, then they have the suppliers to fall on. Then you have proposal solicitation. Normally, companies could invite tenders from these suppliers to submit their bids to supply some of these things. So once they submit their proposals, what you do is that you do supplier selection. You select those that you think, based on technical experts, you evaluate them and find out those that can supply you. You select them, and once you select them, you have order routine specification. You now place the order for the goods and services. And once the goods and services arrive, after some time, you do a performance review. Review the performance of all the suppliers and find out whether they are really delivering. Those that are not, you take a decision to drop them and look for new suppliers. Those that are performing to expectations, you renew their bids and they continue to stay on as suppliers of your products and services. Thank you. This is the end of slide 5.